Employee that came to me and said that and she'd been here for 31 years and she had never seen it voted out unanimously and in a short period of time. That doesn't necessarily credit to myself, but I think it goes credit to the city as a whole and to our governance and to us working in a very uniform fashion, and financially we got things resolved. For me, from my vantage point, that's a huge story. Now you may disagree, but I think that's a huge story. And I think the people of the city of Houston ought to know that story. I think that is major. Now, conversely, if we had been at City Hall all day, hassling, fussing, fighting, not getting it done, then that would have been a huge story. And so, from my vantage point, don't penalize us when we do good and hit us over the head severely when we do bad. Because we're not going to be perfect all the time, and we're going to make mistakes, and we're all big boys and girls, and that's a part of the territory. So I just think we have a lot to highlight in this city, and I think from your vantage point, you got to tell your story. You got to do your job as understandable, but hopefully we'll highlight the good things about the city and what's happening in the city at the same time. Yes.
Yeah, talking about selling the city, are you planning on any outbound trade mission where you take business people to different countries to explore business opportunities?
I will tell you, I intentionally made a decision that I was going to try to stay in the city as much as I could in the first 8 to 10 months or so. And so I've kind of limited my travel outside. I may leave, for example, on a Sunday and go and do what I need to do and be back for Tuesday, like for today. Or I may leave on Wednesday after City Council and then come back a day or two. But the answer is yes. So, for example, in September, we'll head to Cuba with the trade mission in Cuba. That will be in September. And then in the end of October for the World Energy Council, which we just hosted in Houston, that will be in Cape Town. And so I will head a trade mission to South Africa for that. That will be in the end of October, I recall, I think. And then there's been a request, for example, for me, I think, to go to China, and we're trying to work that out. That may not be until the beginning of 2017. And then I will head to Mexico, and the Texans are playing another team in Mexico, and the president of Mexico has invited me to be with him for that game, so I will go to Mexico, not for the game. I'm going because the president invited me. But while I'm there, I'm going to see the game. And then in return, I've invited him to join me at the Super Bowl here in Houston.
All these outbound trade missions, are those opportunities available to the general business communities or just a selected group of people?
We work very closely with the Great Houston Partnership and some others, and so there are additional opportunities. And then hopefully, some of you will join us on some of those trips as well. I certainly would extend the invitation to you. I saw another hand back. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mr. Turner. Yvonne Guidry again with ExploreLatina.com. I'd actually like to volunteer to take over your Instagram page. I know I follow your City of Houston Mayor events page, and I feel like you're doing so much more that the city could see. And yeah, I'd love to take over it. I live and breathe social media, so if I could do that for a day or a week, we could show some numbers and improve some numbers. You only have 989 followers right now, and there's over 4 million people in Houston. So we could add, share more light to what you're doing in the city, and everybody's on social media right now. So yeah,
Okay.
I just want to volunteer.
Well, talk to Janice and Dr. Darren.
I will.
Okay.
Following up on the expanded trade, the Panama Canal has just expanded, and so
Right.
there will be more traffic coming through it. And as I understand it, a lot of that will come to the Port of Houston. Do you have any projections as to the changes that will affect the city?
Well, recognizing that there will be more traffic, certainly the transporting freight from point A to point B is very, very important. I know this is something that County Judge Ed Emmett has spoken to, and in fact he chaired the study that talked about there being 1 billion truck trips per day at some point after the Panama Canal opened, and the importance of establishing more meaningful train connections, rail connections. And so, yeah, we're working on that. We've looked at, for example, asking the port to instead of the trucks having to get there by 7 to pull that up, push that back to maybe like 9 or 10 to avoid all these big trucks coming through the high congested travel time, peak times during the day. But the additional building out the multimodal transportation grid is going to be critically important. Rail is going to be critically important once that Panama Canal opens and more goods are having to be shipped from point A to point B. So yeah, we're focused in. We're focused in on that. D. Morris?
I got a couple questions. One was from a good friend of mine. I just want to put this out there. He was asking, because Houston is a great city and got great venues, why is it that we're not getting a lot of tax breaks for people to do movies in the city? So that was one. And then with the high-speed train